Physical Services Committee meeting in order. Can you please call the roll?
Hang on here, we gotta figure out who's on what.
Second.
Who's on first, who's on second.
Since we didn't have that down, I don't have the roll
No,
call.
these were add-ons. I apologize.
Yeah. So, I don't remember
Members of your
who's on each
committee.
committee.
Members of your committee, she doesn't have the roll on that.
I am. You.
Okay, so,
Todd, Barlow, Walker, and Myers.
That's on admin, right?
We're not on admin, we're doing physical services.
physical services.
I think all you have is Todd, Walker, and Barlow, right?
Yeah. It should be 4 of you total.
Okay,
Here you go. So there you go.
okay. Thank you.
Okay. Put a resolution of our add-ons after.
Okay. Counselor Barlow.
Here.
Counselor Todd.
Here.
Counselor Walker.
Here.
Counselor Myers.
Here. Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes of August 4th, 2014?
So moved. Second.
Counselor Barlow.
Yes.
Counselor Todd.
Yep.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Myers.
Yes. Is there any old business that come before this committee? Seeing none, I'll move on to new business. Item number 1. I received a request from James Krazik of Arise to hold an event at West Park on Sunday, September 13th, 2014, called Light Up the Night Run and Walk. Mr. Krazik here, I don't see him. Commissioner, you want to speak on this?
I do know that the they're going to, they want to start in the west part. I believe that they've already had some discussion
Steve.
with the police about
Steve?
Correct. And he wants it to run from 7P to 10P? Okay.
originally, hopes of starting the break.
Sherman, Mayor's with me, won't even let go.
I'll talk about it.
Okay. I know Mr. Karazik's been heavily involved in building ramps with his organization for the homes in the city of Oswego that need it to help the people out, so I'll be in support of this. Is there any questions, concerns?
I'd make a motion. I got you, Bill.
Councilor Van Buren.
Counselor Todd just asked me what this was, and I'd spoken with Mr. Karasik a few times just at the Youth Bureau meetings. We're both on that board together. Essentially, it's a fundraiser with a parade kind of competition style deal where you attempt to light yourself up the best you can using whatever you can, glow sticks, LED lights, battery powered Christmas lights, those type of things. I've seen them in other places. It's a pretty cool event, so if this is done well, I think it'd be a really neat thing for the community, and it's a really good cause. He had talked about wanting to do it for a while, so I'm glad he's moving forward with his plans.
Thank you, sir. Is there any other questions, concerns? Seeing none.
Yeah, there he is.
Oh. Mr. Krazik, come on right up, state your name, what you want to do with your program here, and we'll put you right on the spot, right off the bat. How's that, sir?
My name is Jim Karasik, and tonight I'm representing my position with RISE, the manager of independent living services there. And on September 13th, we want to conduct an event in the city that's very unique and unusual to this area. It's called Light Up the Night. This is the event that takes off at dusk, and it's a 5K. First part of the event is a run, and our route is from Franklin Square over to Ford. We were originally going to be a break that, but the mayor's office contacted me and said that that particular evening there's a wedding there, and although we could share the park, we really didn't want to have a bunch of kids in glow sticks show up at the background of the wedding pictures. So we agreed to move to Franklin Square. So I think you have the route, and if you don't, you have a better mark one. I know these things don't scan.
Sure.
And
So what makes this event unusual is two things. First thing we do is we all gather at Franklin Square, and then they do what they call a party dance. So these are the dances that are normally played at weddings that everybody moans about, but they all get up and dance to. And people are dressed in glow sticks, glow bracelets, glow paint. They are allowed to come in costumes. The couple that I attended to see how this run is put together is just phenomenal to see the imagination of people. It's different also in the fact that we're inclusive because Arise is an agency that deals with people with disabilities. So we might have people show up in wheelchairs, power scooters, and those kinds of apparatus. We'll make our way over to the fort. We have a water stop near the subway stop, and then that'll be there on the way back. Now, for people that make it to the fort, because we are inclusive, that don't have the strength to come back, we have a trolley company that has agreed to provide a trolley at no cost to Arise, and they can bring people back to the fort. Once they get to the fort, guess what? We all stop and dance again. We do a couple party dances. We return back to Franklin Square, and they do one more. So that's really it in a nutshell. We're looking for approval of the route. We will need some police help on 104. We can stay on the sidewalk. We would prefer we block the north lane off if we get a lot of registrants with this, so that we're not forcing people up against the rail. And it would be nice if, we want to make sure the police are on notice, the EMTs are on notice. We do have a ham radio operators club that will be working with us, and we do have escort where at different points on turns. We also will have everything clearly identified, the signage. We have plenty of volunteers. Our whole idea is to be back at the park about an hour and a half after start time at 7, and we're out of there and cleaned up a half hour later. I think that's it, unless you have any questions.
Thanks, sir. Is there any questions for Mr. Krasik? Counselor Todd?
On that, Mr. Krasik, no.
Anyone else? Seeing none?
I'll move it.
No,
Second.
I've got questions just now for Mr. Krasik.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, Counselor Todd. Go ahead. What's your question?
Well, mostly towards the DPW chief. I was hoping that the fire and police chiefs were here, but how much overtime do you anticipate this costing? To set up all the barricades and the police and everything at nighttime with,
Counselor, I can answer that for the chief.
but I mean, for you,
I don't know how much participation.
traffic's gonna do the barricades and then the police chief too.
you don't have either one of them here.
Well, why don't we, Michael?
I mean, my question is the fact that this is gonna be, substantially later than what their normal work hours is, so you have to pay them the differential to come from when they get out of work, to come back in after work, and to do it all at overtime. And then you have to send them to take it down 4 hours later, so they have to be paid throughout that whole time. So that's a concern. It's the same concern we brought up for Harbor Fest and everyone else.
Through the chair.
Counselor Walker?
What they do, Mike, if they put them up, the police will take them down and just set them aside, and then they'll pick them up the next morning.
Next morning.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can close off the north lane at 7 o'clock at night on Friday, though.
Actually,
Or Saturday night, either one.
Well, Mike, would you feel comfortable we passed everything tonight and then have Mr. Krasik contact Chief DeCare
Sure.
and
fine.
talk to him about that?
Yeah, I'm just concerned about those. I mean, it's gonna be one of the first weekends college is back. It's gonna be already stressful for them that weekend, so.
Okay, you guys comfortable being, making a contingent that Mr. Krasik reaches out to our police chief?
that's fine.
Let's see what we can do. You good with that?
Yeah, I'm good with that. I mean, as most of you know, Rise is based here in the city hospital in Bronx. Work with the city and everything we're trying to do, so we should.
I understand Counselor Todd's issues, so that's why I'm figuring if maybe if you can make contact with our police chief and you guys can hash out the details and we can always amend it later. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Krasik. Okay, now, may I have a motion?
Again, I'll move it.
Second.
Counselor Barlow.
Yes.
Counselor Todd.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Myers.
Yes. Okay, item number 2. Received a request from Kevin Gallagher to hold a flag football game in order to raise money for the American Red Cross on Sunday, September 7th, 2014, between 12 noon and 3 p.m. in Brightbeck Park. Commissioner. No alcohol, right? Okay. Play ball? Is there any questions, concerns? I don't see any. Motion.
Second.
Counselor Barlow.
Yes.
Counselor Todd.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Myers.
Yes. Is there any other business to come before this committee? Seeing none?
Move it, Jim.
Second.
Counselor Barlow.
Yes.
Counselor Todd.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Myers.
Yes.
Same group.
Same group? Same four?
This time, I'd like to call planning and development to order.
Counselor Barlow.
Here.
Counselor Todd.
Here.
Counselor Walker.
Here.
Counselor Myers.
Here.
No.
I don't know.
I chair
Am
that.
I?
I chair
Oh,
that.
I'm
one,
sorry.
but It's the same three people.
Same another. Counselor Van Buren.
Here.
I don't want to share the spotlight with you.
Item number 1, Nicholas Serino, owner of Lighthouse Lanes, was granted a variance to operate the decibel, outside the decibel limits set forth in the City of Oswego noise ordinance in order to have bands playing. He was forced to cancel his most recent concert date, is looking to extend this until September 5th. It looks like he has no change to anything that he's asked for his summer concert series in the previous application, but he would like to extend it to that date. Any questions or concerns? Councilor.
Yeah, I talked to Mr. Serino about this. He got rained out Friday, was it? Friday night he got rained out, and he had the band already booked, and they wouldn't refund the money, so they said they'd play another date, so. And he'd like to see if they could do it September 5th, so I'd be in support of this.
Councilor Todd?
Sean, is that Classic Weekend?
I don't.
Or is Classic?
Is it the last week of August, the last weekend in August?
Or is
The
it that
Classic
one,
weekend?
Labor Day week?
It's the week after.
So week after.
Okay. All right. Seeing no other comments, we'll take a motion on this.
I'd make a motion.
Second.
Counselor Barlow.
Yes.
Counselor Todd.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes. Is there any other business to come before this committee? Seeing none, take a motion to adjourn. That's admin services. Make a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Second.
Counselor Barlow.
Yes.
Counselor Todd.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
This time, I'd like to call the Administrative Services Committee meeting in order. Please call the roll.
Counselor Capelitz.
Here.
Counselor Enright.
Here.
Counselor Myers.
Here.
Counselor Van Buren.
Here.
Counselor Todd.
Thank you. I need a motion to approve the minutes of August 4th, 2014.
Make a motion?
Second it?
Counselor Capelitz.
Yes.
Counselor Enright.
Yes.
Counselor Myers.
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Todd.
Yes.
Any old business coming before this committee? Seeing none, move on to new business. Under authorizations, Tony Leota, Acting City city engineer requests approval of change order number 1 for the construction contract with W.D. Malone Trucking and Excavating, Inc. for the sanitary sewer rehabilitation 10th Street Basin EFC project number C7-6344-19-04 in the amount of $0 for reconnecting all 6-inch sanitary sewer laterals where flush-end manholes are being replaced. Mr. Leota?
There, the unit price is contract, $222 per foot. It is the same price that we charge another project that said this last year. For some reason, the unit price was inadvertently left out of this contract. So if they come into a situation where they have to replace a ladder, they need a unit price in the contract. If they don't use it, then we charge.
Questions or comments, Mr. Leota or others? Seeing none? We need a motion, please.
Make a motion?
I'll second it.
Counselor Capelitz?
Yes.
Counselor Enright?
Yes.
Counselor Myers?
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren?
Yes.
Counselor Todd?
Yes.
Thank you. Item number 2, Tony Leota, acting city engineer, requests approval of change order number 2 for the combined sewer rehabilitation first 25% EFC project number C7-6344-19-02 in the amount of $0 to plug an 8-inch pipe coming into MH 3011 on West First Street and fill it in with concrete as directed by the city. Mr. Leota?
Discovered that this is a stray pipe that discharges into a forward main, which is illegal. And what that system now is completely separated. That pipe has got to be abandoned. And we blocked off. So there's no flow. Accidental. Open into the very important. Well, there's new mountains of time to block that off.
Total cost is $14,750, comes out of contingency, which is already in the contract.
This is $1,470.
Questions or comments on the change?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Counselor Capelitz?
Yes.
Counselor Enright?
Yes.
Counselor Myers?
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren?
Yes.
Counselor Todd?
Item 3, Tony Leota, acting city engineer, requests approval of change order number 1 for the HVAC contract with J&A Mechanical Contractors, Inc. for the West Side EFMF and pump station upgrade, EFC project number C7-6344-19-05 in the amount of $0 for additional work to install a new wall penetration above the new incoming water service for the louver number 9 and fill a previous opening with an insulated panel. Mr. Leota?
There's been interference with the water service, so they had to block out the existing opening and install a new opening for the louver. So that was caused by physical interference.
Questions or comments?
There's money in the project for that.
$25,000 in the project, allowance for the project with additional work, it'll leave a balance of $23,704 once the change order is executed.
This is the only change order in this contract.
Okay, questions or comments?
I'll move it.
Counselor Capelitz?
Yes.
Counselor Enright?
Yes.
Counselor Myers?
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren?
Yes.
Counselor Todd?
Yes.
Item number 4, Tony Leotis, Acting City Engineer, requests approval of change order number 3 for the construction contract with C.O. Falter Construction Corp. For the West Side EFMF and Pump Station Upgrade EFC project number C7-6344-19-05 in the amount of $0 for the setup and maintenance of bypass pumping due to the failure of existing screw pump number 1. There's attachments on that. Mr. Leotis. Tony, so what's the total cost on this? I'm just a little, as I read through this, you know, we have $200,000 in the... Okay, but we have, under the change order, it says that the following items will be paid for using the $200,000 allowance under B1-1A for miscellaneous additional work. The remaining balance will be $135,305. There's other items that we've taken out of this prior to this, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so that's why we're at that number. Left in that. Okay. Just so, just so everyone understands that, you know, it talks about in the amount of, several of the resolutions we just had talks about in the amount of $0. And it's actually not a $0 change order, but what it comes from is a set amount that has already been bid in a contract for contingency items. So we're authorizing the expenditures for the change orders that comes from the contingency and does not increase the overall cost of the contract that's already been bid. So, just so.
But also you have to understand that at the end of the project, the overall cost, if there's money left over, it'll be a deduct.
Deduct from it, right. Hopefully come under bid, that's what we hope. Any other questions or comments from folks?
And the reason we have to do this is because EFC requires all the change orders to be approved
By
in order to qualify for funding under the EFC loan.
Well, I think it's a good practice anyways, because I think we've had some of the change orders that we've made some changes to that have certainly been to the benefit of the city, so. Questions or comments?
Make a motion.
Counselor Cavanagh?
Yes.
Counselor Enright?
Yes.
Counselor Myers?
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren?
Yes.
Counselor Frye?
Item number 5, Mayor Gillen received a request from Jamie Branshaw on behalf of Wayne Drugs requesting to lease the parking area located on the southeast corner of West 2nd Street and Cayuga Streets, which was formerly leased to R.E. Davis and Sons. R.E. Davis and Sons relinquished its lease with the city in 2013. They had been paying $100 a month for rental of the parking lot. The city attorney is requesting passage of a resolution authorizing Mayor Gillen to execute a lease agreement with Wayne Drugs for the rental of this parking lot. Mayor?
Yeah, we received correspondence from Mr. Blanchard requesting that he take over the rental of the Davis parking area. I haven't had a chance to discuss it with the city attorney lately.
letter, it states that he currently has employs over 70 employees and numerous delivery vehicles, of which all offer residents of the city free delivery. And I do know that parking for employees of Wayne Drugs has certainly been a challenge. City assessor?
I'd just like to offer, services and prices, certainly well below market, I can tell you that. I can, do some research and see what market rent for, parking lot right side of the building.
Thank you, city assessor.
Excellent.
Theory? Counselor?
Yeah, I've had a number of discussions with Jamie about this. Davis Brothers have had this parking lot for a number of years. And as Ron mentioned, they're no longer going to need them. And as Wayne's operates and has over 70 vehicles that they put down there that impact whether or not the other businesses downtown have those parking. And they do employ over 70 people. Wayne's Drugs offered to continue this lease and get all the parking of their employees and mandate that they're down there away from downtown businesses, taking up those parking places, which impact those businesses, and they're willing to pay on that. So I'd be in favor of approving this because it keeps 70 cars down there and we're getting paid for it.
Thank you, Counselor.
To the chair, I have to agree with Counselor Todd. The Bradshaws have been a pillar in this community for a very, very long time. I know they employ a lot of local kids well in school, and I think that'd be a good burden lifted off of the downtown area. So I'm in support of it also.
Thank you.
Through the chair.
Counselor?
Did we, I mean, when this came available, was this anyway advertised, or how, does anybody else have an opportunity to bid on this parking place? I mean, or is this something that just, this happened without anybody being aware of it? Because
I think it kind of happened the same way that the yacht club became available. Just without anybody know about it, and they just got the lease.
what's that supposed to mean?
Counselor?
I don't think you really know what you're talking about down there, so I think you ought to really hold your comments until, you get your facts. But all I'm doing is looking out for the better interest of the city on this, and I think $100 a month seems a little low when you consider what parking is going for in the city. Now, I'm not against it. I kind of agree with, all the benefits that come in there. I'm asking the question that I believe anybody else ought to ask, is that, is anybody else been available to put a bid on this? And if not, why are we not advertising? It's just an asset. That's what I'm asking. Does anybody have that answer?
City Attorney?
Artie Davis, sometime in 2013, I would have to look through my file to see exactly when it was, stopped making payments on the lot. And didn't, complete the lease that they had for 2013. So it, just became, vacant or not being rented out. The city did not, we did not do anything to, put out RFPs or promote it or anything else. Apparently, Wayne, on their own, noted that the lot was not being used by Ari Davis and sent a letter to the mayor. So that's how this came about.
Thank you, Counselor. Other questions or comments? I think the city assessor has a legitimate point with respect to, I think we do, and I understand and I appreciate everything that Wayne's done, and I'm certainly, I think we're all huge supporters of what they are and what they mean to this community, but I do believe we have an obligation to at least look at what the going rate is on the parking lot, and then we can, make some decisions from there. I'm not sure, maybe the $100 is fair for what the quid pro quo, so to speak, with respect to the benefits of the community, but I'm just thinking off the top of my head here. Counselor?
I agree with that, Ron, but I think we sat through a couple times when we gave it to R.E. Davis for $100 a month. These same questions never arose before,
I agree.
and,
Shane, on us.
shame on us, but, again, Wayne's has been an asset to the city for many, many years. I don't mind maybe doing it till the end of the year, until at least they would have a place for now to put all their employees. And then that would give the assessor time to do all that and get all the proper numbers put together for us. So, I'm still in favor of leasing it till at least to the end of the year, because I know, it's gonna take some time to get stuff put together, put it out there. But in the meantime, we're gonna lose money if we don't.
I agree. I like that idea. We don't have any lease in place right now for 2014. We could at least extend it through the end of the year, and then we can figure out where we're going for 2015. Sound like a plan, gentlemen?
Shoot. Make a motion.
Second.
Counselor Capelitz?
Yes.
Counselor Enright?
Yes.
Counselor Myers?
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren?
Yes.
Counselor Todd?
Yes.
And we need a resolution?
Mayor's office? Thank you. Oh, yes.
So the resolution would be for, at least add $100 a month through December 31st.
Through the end of the year. Let's at least get it on, let's not drag it out, let's get them parking cars there and get some employees in there, and then we'll figure out where we gotta be on the money end of things. Getting something back, that's what we were getting. Okay. Item 6, Gay Williams City Attorney requests that the committee consider passage of the attached vacant buildings code submitted by the Quality of Life Committee. Do we have extra copies of that here to pass around to some folks that may want to have one? I know I tore my copy out so the press could have one, and I just think that it's important for everybody to have it, be able to, who wants one, to be able to get it. Can we do that? Thank you. Let's take a 2-minute break here and then we can distribute this thing. Let me call this back to order. Sorry for our little delay here. But for those who want a copy, there's some extra copies here. If any of the staff want copies and don't have it, they're more than welcome to look at it. And at this time, we'll go back to item 6. Gay Williams City Attorney requesting committee consider passage of the attached vacant buildings code submitted by the Quality of Life Committee. Ms. Williams.
I would like to defer to Connie Cosmeno, who's the chair of the committee, because my role was in editing and making the final draft, but I was not involved in the actual accessory living and creation of the code. And Counselor Eric and Connie Cosmeno
Close
could
enough.
speak to this better than I.
Okay. Ms. Cosmeno?
Do I need to stand?
No, you can sit right there, Connie, unless you want comfortable standing. That's
Thank you, Congress, Mayor, city officials. The Quality of Life Committee has been working on this particular code, local law, which the city does not have for years. And like the police chief says, if you don't have a speeding limit, then you can't use it. And we don't have a local law that controls vacant property, except for chapter 249, which deals with the conditions
Thank you, former Councilor Cosmetto. I really appreciate, the fact that we have this to look at and at the beginning, I asked some tough questions on, and because I really do believe that, it's not just in certain wards, it's all over. And for example, I have property in the 7th Ward where the owner passed away last winter, and not quite sure of the status of it. I think the bank still owns it in foreclosure, but it's also become a hangout for kids. And, it certainly it's problematic for the neighborhood and for the neighbors and ultimately the city when you start adding all those up collectively, what we're trying to deal with. I guess I'd ask any of the counselors that also served on that committee or anybody else that served on that committee that might want to comment before we ask some questions about what's been presented here. Counselor Todd?
My only question about it all, and I think it's a great idea, but we just authorized to spend, maybe I'm misunderstanding this, $60,000 to rewrite our codes and zoning books, which I would think would take in part of this. It kind of seems like we're going to pay for this twice. We're going to pay to put this all through. We're going to pay to have it reprinted and put it all back out through everything, which I agree. But wouldn't it make more sense to just include this when we redo the zoning stuff we just paid $60,000 for? Wouldn't it make sense to do it all at once instead of doing it twice?
Actually, I think we changed our plans on that, and that's what I think Councilor Van Buren is going to talk about. Councilor Van Buren.
Zoning and the municipal code are two separate things.
But I thought we were
Just
doing
so
both
you-
though.
We're really focusing on the zoning aspect of it.
Okay.
Municipal codes are different in how they operate, which is kind of a whole separate issue with the whole home rule law and what we talked about there. So they're two different things. And I believe this, we talked about going under 249, correct?
This is a whole new chapter, 83.
85. Or 85. Yeah, 85.
85, I'm sorry, 85. Because we have no code,
Right,
properties, can't rewrite it.
which is a whole separate section. So
I'm
this,
just trying to figure out if we can include it all at once so we can just pay for it once.
we can include it all in once in the sense that what we talked about before is by saving it so that when we send it down to have the books and stuff done, that they're all done at the same time, which is what we talked about, but it's still, we can still do the preemptive stuff of passing it, public hearing and all of that, and then they're adopted. So the money-saving aspect comes from the changes we make to the book and how strategic we are and when we schedule those things and have them printed, because it's expensive to do it. Where last year we did it multiple times,
That's
yeah,
really
now
what I'm
we're really
trying to
more
say.
of on a schedule on when we're going to do it, so, yeah, I understand what you're trying to say as far as that goes.
I mean, I got no problem with it, I'm just saying, let's just do it once, not do it multiple times.
And that's the idea, I mean, we know that just because of the,
The good thing about this is
Yes.
that you're not undoing wording from another chapter, you're adding a whole new chapter.
Right.
So these pages are added, so you don't have to print pages and take them out of the code book, this will just be that.
Okay. Counselor?
Through the chair, my question is with these fines, are we gonna hold the city, the state, and the county to the same standards that we hold these residents and business owners in the city of Oswego? Sure, I mean, whoever can answer that.
well, I would, as the city, depending on what structures you're talking about, if that's the case, then we have them listed, so we're actively trying to sell them, just like a landlord that has a vacant property, as long as they're actively trying to rent the property, won't fall under this, and same with someone that has a property listed with a real estate company. So if you're actively trying to do something to change the status of the property, then you won't fall under that. So,
What if I, I don't wanna spend any more money on it, and I'm the one that owns it, and it's a vacant building, and so I said, okay, I'm gonna sell it, but I'm gonna put $500,000 on it, because I don't wanna get rid of it. Put it on, a price that's not reasonable. So is that a way just to circumvent the process that we're trying, I mean, I'm just kinda thinking out loud.
That would be
disingenuous to the process, but how do we capture that?
Well, he's still.
Okay, one at a time, here we go. Counselor, you got the floor still.
What happens if I decide it's my property, I wanna sell it myself? I mean, nowhere in here it says that I have to go to a realtor. So why can't I put up a for sale sign in my yard? These are the questions I need to know.
Well, you can't.
So in other words, if I can't sell it for the next 10 years, I'm okay, right? I'm covered?
Well, I can think of one property in particular right now that's just like that.
But that's what I'm
And there's
saying.
many.
I mean, I think there's some loopholes that probably need to be tied up.
I don't know if we could really tie them up, though. How much is, when you're trying to establish something to bar people from doing a certain route, and I'll give the example on my block. Right around the corner, there's a house on Church Street. He pays the heat and keeps enough of the code violations up that he doesn't get hit with them.
Minimal.
But, we're still attracting nuisance to the property. There's people, they get packages thrown off their porches, they find them in this backyard. What's he gonna do? It's not for sale, he's not doing anything with it, but the property is continually filling. More tarps on the roof every year. This is a problem. So, how do we do this without becoming too harsh? I think if we go into a direction where you're looking to regulate how long it can be on the market before something else has to be done, we can't force somebody to lower their price. How do you regulate that? Even if you put it on the market for 10 years at market rate, then who are we to come in and say you need to drop it 10 grand? We had the assessor appraise this and you need to drop it 10 because it's not selling.
Yeah.
And then,
I just don't think there are loopholes that you can necessarily close. I think they're a step in the right direction as far as giving us a tool to use to start addressing some of the properties that are problems. And I think this is where we need to be more forceful on section 249 for more of our problem properties that have bigger issues. But I think this helps us deal with issues where people are just holding properties and just leaving them there. City attorney's gonna.
Yes.
I could, suggest, a resolution to that last problem that was raised. In section 85-5D2, it says that the action, can include providing content evidence to the building. It also says it may include, but is not limited to, providing content evidence to the building is for sale by a licensed field service, be periodically advertised for sale in a local newspaper or through a multiple listing service. I would think that if you, put in there that it's being, listed, it is listed with a realtor or, something to the effect that it's being sold by the owner and put in at its fair market value.
Okay.
And, say that it's being, advertised in some way, that would probably, take care of that, question.
through the chair.
Counsel.
Probably amend it.
Counsel.
So what you're saying is, if I'm a private owner of a piece of property, I can still sell it on my own then?
You can sell it on your own, but you have to show us that you are, offering it for sale for its fair market value, not $1 million. And that also that you're doing something to market it, to show us what you're doing to market. Like a realtor would put it on an MLS and would advertise it or whatever. So what are you doing to market it, or is it just a sham and you're pretending to sell it?
So I can't put a sign out front of my own house saying for sale, because I have to show, but that's proof, I'm showing you I'm trying to sell my house, correct?
I suppose that would be we could have all sorts of rules.
Well, and G does say, it says this action may include but is not limited to it, and it lists those 3 items. So there'd have to be some sort of an interpretation of whether or not what you're trying to do is reasonable.
The determination
But it would
has
allow
to
you to do
be
that.
by the city, are you really trying to sell the property? If you put the sign out there and it's been out there for 3 months and they haven't had any offers and blah, 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 or 6 months or whatever, and the city really thinks that you're just putting this on, then maybe we would cite you for a violation. You have to a judge to determine if you're in violation or not.
very legitimate discussion on a very legitimate problem that we have in the city, and it's the way to start being a little bit more proactive in some of our neighborhoods with respect to some of those properties.
You know, if you talk to folks who consider coming here to live, they come into some of the neighborhoods and they see vacant, I have 5 vacant houses anymore. And 2 of them come up in the last year. If I wanted to sell my house, I would be hard pressed
Yeah.
to get anywhere near market value for it. But the city loses out because good families don't move here. Good families are leaving here. So our schools are depressed because we don't have, I mean, look at Lake, almost got closed down 10 years ago because there were so many rentals without food, without college food stuff, until we had children to go to school. And now we're having lots and lots, anywhere that you have a vacant property, you have a lot of wild animals going on. And that, you walk into any neighborhood that has 1 or 2 vacant houses, and strangers walk by, listen to all the dogs in the neighborhood. I mean, that's an unforeseen response of what happens, when you have neighborhoods that are breaking down because of this. And let's face it, that's what's going on. And you're right, there's no perfect code.
And I do believe we have an obligation and a responsibility when people make investments in their homes, and that's what we have all over the city. And when somebody else takes an action that takes away from the value of your home, that's to me is when the city has an obligation or responsibility. Our job is to protect your investment in this community. And that's really what we're supposed to be doing. Every decision we make here as a council, we need to think about whether or not it adds value to you as a, to your, to this community in many ways, and monetary is one of them. And we have to protect our neighborhoods. And when a homeowner or a landowner or whoever it is doesn't, that's why we have code, that's why we have other things in place that compel people to take care of property, to protect those assets. I do believe that this really takes us in the right direction in protecting the investments that folks have made in the neighborhoods. And to hear that you can't get full market value because somebody's taken homes and they've left them vacant on a block, to me is just, it's not acceptable. Make a decision on what you're gonna do with them.
End of the resolution, there is, A5, page 8.
Yeah, I see that.
Unfortunately, because of the initial work and conflict, we'll begin to build a database.
Yeah.
And then you can see whether this or any code, such as this, is working. And, hopefully we can.
Also,
The only thing I'll say is, when I first moved in on Fifth Ave, I had 3 vacant houses on my street that probably should have been torn down. Like, the fire department went through there, when they're on the 2nd floor, they literally fell through it, the firemen. And I think if you talk to any single person on our street, because we've had this conversation, we'd much rather have the vacant buildings than the 3 college rentals we now have that occupy 20 students, which is primarily the hockey team, that keep us all up late at night. We'd much rather have the vacant buildings. I know from talking with people in my ward that they would far rather see a vacant building than a frat house next to their house. I don't want to see these houses rehabbed in any way, shape, or form. I'd like to see about 500 of them torn down. That will.
Well, whether they get torn down or rehabbed, a lot of our vacant properties are the result of renting to college students that have stressed out the buildings. The landlord chooses not to fix it, takes their money, their income tax deductions, and then leave. And many of the vacant houses that we have now are formal rentals to college students. Not all, but many of them.
happen is we should implement a program where instead of selling these houses back, we should take them up, divide the lot in half, and we say it costs us $12,000 to tear down a house. We should be able to go to the two neighbors that have to deal with that house now and say, listen, for $6,000 each, we'll tear the house down, make it flat, and we'll each give you half the lot so your lot's bigger. Instead, we do everything we can to try and bend over backwards to rehab most of these places, which does a couple things. It causes more problems in the neighborhoods. It makes a glut of the rentals, which DSS and everybody else from the county dump their people in here. And then it takes landlords who actually maintain their properties, like we've got a couple of them here, and actually do maintain them and put money into their properties, and they have to charge less rent from keeping their properties up than we would if, I mean, there's no incentive for them to maintain their properties right now because they have to charge the same rent as the people that don't maintain their properties. So until we get rid of this glut of housing, we're never going to be able to get market value for the people that are residents here or for the landlords that are maintaining their properties. I mean, we've got to come up with a program that gets these houses down. Until we get these houses down, you're never going to fix this problem.
And if I may, that's what, this is a step in that direction, Mr. Couch.
It's a great idea.
How do you determine a vacant property?
There were a number of ways.
I'm asking,
Well, I'm gonna find this.
I'm sorry?
I'm gonna find these guys. No mail, services, vacant lot, water, electric, neighbors usually like to see that every time it's better, there's been more activity there. You know, and the reality is usually more than 3 days by the time you get started.
So any or all of those would consider true sharing, correct?
Yep, you're fine.
More than one item.
So if somebody keeps the power on and water on, then they're okay, even though the house is vacant, is that what you're saying?
Personally, it's not a me, so I would.
Well, through this year, I'm trying to get a grasp on it. An elderly person
Well, let me
responds,
tell
goes
you
into a
how I
nursing home for 6
explained
months.
that, we had, two families next to us, and, one family never saw them again in January, and the second family disappeared in April. And so you write down on a calendar, if you already have an issue, usually you already have an issue. So if you write down and then you notify the city, they knock on the door and they start to fix it.
If I may, city attorney, she can shed some light on this.
The property has to be registered as vacant within 30 days. That just means register and pay the registration fee so the city can keep track of it. Then, if you look further in the code, the property could remain vacant for a period of 365 days. That's a year. And we understand
think that's, and Mary, I think that's what we're trying to do with this, and that is, what is that baseline, and how do you interpret it, and where ultimately, who measures it, how do you measure it, what are the things, how do you make it as objective as you possibly can? That's part of what they're trying to flesh out in this document, and that's what becomes very tough, because what is the standard, right?
There's one question I've got, because we get these all the time for the houses that are, come back to the city for not paying taxes or not doing anything. I mean, it's great. First person to tell you, I wanna see every fine in the city skyrocketed through the roof as much as we legally can. But my question is, if it's abandoned, and they can't rent it, and they get the fine after the first year, they get the fine after the second year, they get the fine after the third year, and then the fourth year. Well, typically, those places, they're not still paying taxes on anyways. So the fines are gonna go on with the taxes, and we have all these fines and then all these taxes that we turn around and we do everything we can to just try and get rid of them, which again goes back into the problem I talked about before. And we end up putting these houses back on the market for nothing, and we've got all the money that we spent trying to track this, to try and fine them, to take them to court, and they don't end up paying us anyways. I mean, that's the only point. I mean, at some point, you have to not just do this, you have to change the way you're taking these properties. You have to get rid of them. It's the only way. You have to figure out a way to get rid of them. The fines, all this other stuff is good, but there's a ton of houses in this city, especially in my ward, that shouldn't get any work done on. They should come down. I mean, pretty much everything from the forks of the road to 8th Street on the north side is pretty much, should come down. I mean, it should be redeveloped. You need to eventually get areas that are large enough that you can get real development in here, to get people that want to come in here and do it. I mean, to just keep putting more houses back on that are undervalued, that keeps you valuing everybody else's problem, is what keeps causing our assessed value problem and our tax rate problem. Until you fix that, you can put all the fines and all the code structure you want in, but until you fundamentally change the way we handle property, it's all redundant. It's not doing anything. It's like putting lipstick on a pig. I mean, you're not fixing the problem at the core of the issue, and that is you've got to get rid of the glut of these houses.
Through the chair. I think this is, what we're doing right here is, we're trying to prevent what we have right now is all these homes that are falling down, literally falling down. Even the ones that actually had taxes paid on it, yet the roof is falling down in the back. So I think this is the step we needed in order to catch any of these homes that are coming up in the future, to prevent them from getting to the state that we're in right now. I mean, this is what just fired this whole resolution, is because of the issues that Councilor Todd is talking about. And majority of the homes, when they get to this point, I agree, they ought to be taken down. They're taken away from the neighborhood. But in the meantime, there's going to be more houses coming up. And by identifying them and getting them into the system, we're going to try to prevent that. And I think that there's so many ways in here by having secured and registered and having, making sure that they have the powers turned off and the water's drained and things like this could prevent these things from getting to this point, and also will make them a candidate for a rehab to bring somebody in to move into the city and start turning the situation around. So I believe that's the intent, and reading through here, I think we've done a good job with it.
I think, Councilor Myers, did you ask something about the county?
Yeah, through the chair. Yep.
Just so you know, that two legislators, one of them, Councilman McCabe, but they realize that they're starting to notice how much of a problem they have in the county, as well as the city. Same thing with that here. They have fewer zoning rules as we do, and they have no vacant property act, law. So they're, by the way, looking at this particular code and see how they can adapt it to the county. It's not that they're going to, I don't know that,
Well,
but it's something that, I mean, we can't
Right, but what drives me crazy is they'll sit here and they'll take our bed tax money, okay? And we have no say over that. They have houses here in this city right now that are in violation. Is this city willing and ready to send the county a bill and say, you owe us this? I think we need to.
I
They-
don't know the legality of that.
I see the attorney's got her hand up.
But we as a city have to start somewhere.
Ron, our city attorney.
Yep, I see her in the back.
I see you.
Ms. Williams.
I can answer that question. They, by state law, the city, we can't enforce our code against, another, municipal entity. We can't enforce our code against the county or the Port Authority.
Counselor?
Let me ask this question then, since you bring that up. If that's the case and we can't enforce ours as a county, can the county enforce theirs against us?
I believe not.
That's interesting. That makes our dumping stuff pretty interesting for transporting stuff out of here.
Let's not get off the subject, Counselor.
Good try, Mel.
That's the point.
We're getting double dipped as taxpayers.
So where do we want to go? I know you wanted to have a discussion on this. Ms. Fennell? Connie, did you hear the question? You want to answer it?
You got a year.
Okay, you want me to, yeah, you wrote it.
So, the city would have to locate, find out who was representing the person, who was in charge of, understand, for example, if someone dies, within 30 days, not necessarily anybody appointed yet. So, they just have to, we would just have to work with them to find someone who can get it registered. And then there is a time given for a year for them to figure out what to do with it and get the estate squared away or the person, whether they're coming home from the nursing home or not, and that sort of thing.
So the question is, I think we've had a great discussion on this today, and I don't know that we're necessarily going to take action. I think we all need to digest this a little bit, and I'm going to suggest that we come back in a couple of weeks and decide if we want to, whatever we present and move forward has to be in a form that will allow us to do ultimately a public hearing, and I think there's some changes and things that need to be added, for example, under 85.5 G2 that we talked about, adding some terms as it relates to fair market value. There may be some other
You know, the committee can meet, and this committee's been working on this for a year, and we have no problem making changes. But is there any way that, we understand, and I think the city attorney does as well, on 85G2, how that could be dashed to protect the homeowners and sell existing house. But if there are other considerations, I'm not sure that I know what they are to get at the committee.
And I think Gay said earlier, you're never gonna get all the wording in here that's gonna deal with every problem. And I think under that particular one, it talks about this action may include but is not limited to. So there will be some interpretive discretion that would have to be used here with respect to certain properties and the information that would be gathered. Then you would have somebody make an individual judgment and decision, and if somebody doesn't agree with it, you may end up in court and having a judge decide ultimately whether the city is taking the right action or the homeowner themselves has in fact, we haven't violated any civil rights on that side, yes, Councilman.
I think probably the most expedient way to do this would be is to come back in 2 weeks. Every councilman has a copy of this thing. If they have any questions or anything that they want to change or add to it, or anybody in the public who's got a copy of this, can bring it up then. If in 2 weeks we come back, and everybody's read this, and nobody has any alterations that they want to make to it or additions to it, and we go forward with it. I mean, everybody's got a copy of it. It's out there in the public. I mean, there's a lot of good parts to this thing. And if nobody's got questions or changes to it, then some of this stuff is important to have out there. There isn't anything that addresses any of this stuff. So you give people 2 weeks to come up with it, and then in 2 weeks, if there's no changes, don't do them. If there are, you address it then.
Sounds good, that's kind of where I was at.
To accomplish that, we could, table it specifically for 2 weeks, and then it would have to appear on the agenda.
Yep, that's fine.
Maybe 2 weeks.
That would be great.
I'll make that motion to table it for 2 weeks.
Motion made to
And if
table.
there's no changes, then we just pass it as it is. All right?
Then the only change you are interested in point is 85E2. We can have the city attorney address that.
I think we can all kind of chat, yeah, we can all chat amongst ourselves here about some
This is
changes that
probably
we
just
need.
the quickest way to get it, to get something out there. I mean, we could talk this to death. I mean, if nobody has anything they want changed to it, I can't address it.
Committee meets every other week, so we'll meet.
2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Beck?
I just want to make a comment on fair market value. That kind of triggered my mind a little bit. If you look at the real estate section on Sunday, and you see what they're getting in Skinny Atlas and better places, such as DeWitt, which is around 385,000 to $1 million, you can't expect to get that kind of fair market value. You've had deterioration here for 34 years, okay? A lot of it's up in there. And the thing is, if you think you're gonna change this over in your lifetime, Connie, because it's been doing it for 34 years, I wish you all the luck in the world. Because take a look at Detroit right now.
I have faith in you, Connie. I think you're gonna live a long time.
Yeah.
Should've had a long time ago. Anyways.
First, the way I had, or actually got it on here, to propose, we just don't want someone to make it so high that it won't sell. We don't mind if they sell it for less than fair market value, so I, jotted in here for myself, or fair market value or less. Secondly, fair market value is determined by the legality of the property that the assessor can tell you. So fair market value of a house is legal is not fair market value of the house is legal.
Well, a fair market value of a house that's next door to a Rite Aid drugstore, for example, that needs additional parking, those are things that complicate the whole formula, so somebody may be asking a little bit more than what we think it's worth, but there's legitimate reason for it. Is there a question or comment over here? Okay, so if I can, I did hear a motion to table for 2 weeks, second?
Counselor Capelitz?
Yes.
Counselor Enright?
Yes.
Counselor Myers?
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren?
Yes.
Counselor Todd?
Yes.
Thank you, and we'll have that on our agenda in 2 weeks, and for those folks who want to participate in this discussion, please give any of us a call, or Connie or others, and let's continue to have this discussion. Thank you, Connie. Item 7, request to transfer funds, debit code City of Chamberlain, request permission to transfer funds from account A 1990.0460 general fund contingent in the amount of $1,750 to account A 3120.0440 police department contracted services for $1,750 for the administrative support for code enforcement. Ms. Code?
Thank you, Counselor. This is the vehicle we have in place, we run the village police department, and
Questions, comments?
Yep, how are we doing on that? I mean, we running about what we spent last year on the lawn mowing, or is it a little bit less this year since they changed the reporting process? Good, that's what I was trying to. Good.
Need a motion?
Make a motion.
Counselor Capelitz.
Yes.
Counselor Enright.
Yes?
Counselor Myers.
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Todd.
Yes.
Have one add-on. It's a request for approval of travel to attend the 2014 New York State Assessors Association's conference training to be held in Lake Placid, New York from Sunday, October 5th through Wednesday, October 8th. This comes from Sue Deary, our city assessor. She's required to attend continuing ed classes for recertifications, and these are available during the contract, during the conference. These funds are budgeted in her account, and she's driving a personal vehicle. Ms. Deary? Thank you. Questions or comments? Motion?
I'll move it.
Counselor Capelitz.
Yes.
Counselor Enright.
Yes.
Counselor Myers.
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Todd.
Yes.
Thank you. Under discussions, Deb Code City Chamberlain requests discussion regarding a bond resolution. Okay, that'll be for Monday night on waiver. Put it here, okay. Questions or comments? The only, you talked about the water treatment plant. I'd love to hear from our plant manager there someday to see here how things are going with the upgrades that are, we're spending money on there. Okay. Mayor, maybe you can, thank you very much. Any other business? I do have a couple of executive sessions.
I better take care of one.
You want to take care of one?
Member in the audience, there's a thing going around on Facebook. It's the ALS Challenge to bring awareness to Lou Gehrig's disease. Yeah, a member in the audience challenged me to do it. Another member in the audience provided the supplies to do it tonight. Part of my challenge was I had to do it after tonight. So I'm accepting that challenge. We have what I expect should be a quick executive session. And then I'm gonna run downstairs, get wet and get cold, and take care of that. And I guess part of my challenge is to nominate 3 others. So it only seems right and fitting, since I'm announcing this here, that I should nominate the council leadership in President Capelitz and Vice President Van Buren. And maybe Mayor Gillen, if he doesn't ask for my resignation. So we'll get that out. Unless executive session's gonna take a while, I'm fine with doing it in between, but it should be brief, so.
Well, this doesn't get you out of the polar plunge this year. This is just
Oh, yes, it
practice.
does. Oh, yes, it does.
No, Van Buren's already done it, so there's 5 people left to try.
Entertainment to follow, I guess. At this time, I'd like to call for an executive session to discuss the proposed acquisition, sale, or lease of real property, or the proposed acquisition of securities or sale or exchange of securities held by such public body, but only when publicity would substantially affect the value thereof, specifically, and there's two properties that are going to be discussed tonight, the Fort Ontario Building Number 10, as well as 1 West Seneca Street. Need a motion to move to executive session.
Counselor Capelitz.
Yes.
Counselor Enright.
Yes.
Counselor Myers.
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Todd.
I said yes.
Second.
Counselor Capelitz.
Yes.
Counselor Enright.
Yes.
Counselor Myers.
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Todd.
No. Let's go.
Now, where is he?
We didn't make
He said yes, he's back.
motion to adjourn.
Any other business coming before committee?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Counselor Capelitz.
Yes.
Counselor Enright. Counselor Myers.
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Todd.
Thank you.